There's a study in contrast, the serenity of the New York countryside, but there is no serenity at a side-by-side monster truck race, the Lebanon Valley Speedway in West Lebanon, New York. We are ready for second round action. We have 8 trucks still in competition as we take a look at the matchups. Nightlife going against Equalizer, the second fast loser from round 1, USA 1, and Rambo. Rambo a surprise winner in that first round. The Carolina Crusher, the fast loser, against Mike Wine's Jersey Outlaw, and King Crunch against the surprise winner, Thunder Chicken. And look at the mud on Nightlife.
Well, Dave Wysori comes out. We're checking some stuff out here. I just noticed on the pairings, this will be the 3rd time tonight that Rambo's run USA 1. That's turned into a rivalry. Let's go back to the race we're looking at now. First time tonight, we've had an opportunity to see the Equalizer, the new rookie driver. The truck has a tendency to have some weird gyrations. Now, the horsepower trucks are having problems tonight. Let's see if this rookie driver can figure it out.
Both drivers a bit tentative off the line, but remember, it's a very slick racing surface, and Greg Holbrook, the youngster in Equalizer, will take the victory. But again, with all the horsepower these trucks have, they have to tippy-toe.
Yeah, you're right. They're ballet dancers for the first 25 or 30 feet. Then when they get straight, now they'll go for each other.
So the youngster Greg Holbrook, and one of the best pieces of equipment out there, takes the victory. Look at the trouble that Dave Wyzorik has. And the Equalizer has some fans here in New York. Army?
Greg Holbrook, I think we're talking slick out there tonight.
Yeah, it's drying up. Some more trucks run over to help them to dry out. The first set of cars on the left side is throwing you over to the left because of the track being slanted. We've been compensating for that, and it's been working real good.
Well, Steve Wilkie, we can see, starts to do his gyrations in the cockpit, psyching himself up. The 3rd matchup tonight against Rambo. The youngster, Bill Weaver, in Rambo has defeated USA 1 twice this evening, once in qualifying, once in the first round.
Yeah, Wilkie, I'm just going to be real blunt, he's mad. He does not want this New York kid to beat him 3 times in a row. You're looking at a different Wilkie, a wiser Wilkie. He kind of back throttles for the first set of cars. Now goes big time and goes to the next round.
And that is 1 discipline and 2nd experience.
Exactly. Point well taken, Gary.
Wilkie knows he has a lot of horsepower, plenty of horsepower, and much more experience, but he had to use some self-discipline. He can't use all the horsepower on this slick track. So there is the replay, and a truck-length victory for Steve Wilkie in USA 1.
Plus some newfound confidence for the next round, Gary. That could play dividends later tonight.
You right alongside Mike Wine, the Jersey Outlaw. He lost a filling in qualifying. That shows you, Army, how rough this track is.
Well, the drivers say every time you land in a monster truck, it's equivalent, the impact on your body is equivalent to like a 30-mile-an-hour head-on collision. These guys do it time and time again, day and day after day. But he's going up against Porter. I guarantee you right now, he's not thinking about that tooth. He's thinking about how to finesse that truck for the first 35 or 40 feet, Gary. Ford versus Chevrolet. Wine's from New Jersey. Porter's out of North Carolina.
And Wine is in trouble, misses the 2nd row of cars. Gary Porter takes the victory. We talked earlier about Bigfoot pulling off to the right each time. Look at that run by Mike Wine. Here you are back in the cab. Now watch. He clears the first set of iron. Now watch the truck veer off to the right.
That's because the truck slants to the left. They're trying to compensate, and they're overcompensating.
So Gary Porter takes the victory, and he's down there with Army Armstrong.
Gary Porter, the track is really giving you guys some weird, and I'm giving the benefit of the doubt of the track, weird bounces out there.
It is. You know, I qualified fast and come back and lost the first round, and fortunate enough to come back as a fast loser. And that round on the 2nd set of cars, when I landed the truck, you know, it just bounced way up in the front end, and the track's getting really rough. The track's drying out. We're getting faster, and the cars are getting mashed down with holes in them.
Surprise winner first round, Thunder Chicken eliminated Bigfoot. He takes on Scott Stevens with the in-cab radio.
Scott Stevens, you can't cut this guy any slack at all. Yeah, you know, you see Bigfoot, that'll bump anybody up when you put any out.
So the Auto Value King Crunch, Scott Stevens. We enjoy talking to Scott. He's such a great sport to help us out on the telecast.
Yeah, and that really adds a whole lot to it for the folks that are watching this. You know, they actually take you inside the truck with him, and you can tell this is a serious time in his life. But what's amazing to me is King Crunch goes to what we consider the bad lane tonight. Thunder Chicken went in a good lane. Okay, I see what happened. Crunch really was waltzing over that first set of vehicles to get straight for the final. He's driving 2 different tracks. the first half and the second half, Gary.
Yeah, a very gingerly type run across the first set of cars, and he nails the hammer as much as he possibly can to lay that horsepower down on a very slick racetrack. Kid Rarick has a straight run, simply does not have the ponies under the hood or perhaps the experience of a Scott Stevens.
Because it's so muddy here, Scott has put the tape on backwards to make it what? Just so you know, he's not going to let you get away. You're going to have to drive hard is what he's telling you.
Yeah, our foot was slipping off the gas pedal in qualifying, and we thought it was a tranny. After we kind of watched some videos, we figured out my foot just slipped off the gas pedal, and now we put the tape on backwards so my foot sticks to the gas pedal, and we won 2 rounds with it, so that's what we're going to do the rest of the night.
We are down to the final 4 here in West Lebanon, New York. Equalizer against USA 1, and the Carolina Crusher will take on King Crunch. We have some very enthusiastic and very patient race fans here this evening. We have endured a rain delay, a lot of moisture, a lot of mud, but some great competition. We are ready for the final 4.
Well, Gary, credit where credit's due. Howie Commander and his crew have done a superb job of getting the moisture out of here. Any other track, the event would not have happened at all. What are we down to? 4 of the fastest trucks in the sport. We talked about speed not being a factor early. All the drivers have adjusted. Now we got 4 big rockets left to find out who's going to win this thing in New York.
The Chevrolet fans are on high tonight. The Ford fans, well, Bigfoot upset in the first round, so it's all Chevy in the final 4. The Equalizer, USA 1, they're coming right at you.
Veteran on the far side, rookie close to the camera. Look at this kid out of Tennessee.
Look at the rookie. He had the whole shot. There's a big smile from Gary Cook, the owner of Equalizer. Once again, Greg Holbrook had the advantage from the starting green light.
You got to remember that Cook picked Holbrook up. Holbrook was an ATV motorcycle racer, okay? And this man spotted, he said, this kid has got the talent to drive my monster truck. He put him in it. There's proof of the pudding right there, Gary Lee.
We are ready now for the matchup between King Crunch and the Carolina Crusher, Gary Porter and Scott Stevens.
You look between the trucks, you can see the third man in our radio communication. That's crew chief Kevin Ford.
There's a look at Scott Stevens out of the state of Texas, Woodlands, Texas, the King Crunch Auto Value Special. We've enjoyed talking with Scott on that in-cab radio, and the Wadesboro, North Carolina veteran, the Carolina Crusher of Gary Porter.
You can look both tires to see how wet it is out there.
Scott, Army Armstrong on this end. You and Kevin Ford got this groove figured out? We're trying, Army. We're going to try something a little different. Move over to the left of the cars. You know, it's been throwing everybody to the left so hard because they line up to the right. We're going to try to line up on the left side of the cars, and maybe you can run down the whole line of them. Okay, well, let me ask you about that getting thrown to the left. The track has a little bit of a downhill angle. Is that what's causing everybody to go left? Yeah, it is, Army. Yeah, you're lined up real crooked, Scott.
Kevin Ford is on the motor scooter right behind the monster truck. You can see him down there giving directions to line up.
Gary Lee, Kevin Ford, in this case, the crew chief on the vehicle is like the instrument panel in a fighter airplane. Scott Stevens has to listen to Kevin and believe in Kevin. You got to go with what you hear, not how you feel. That's how close these guys are, and that's the reason they run so good.
Greg Holbrook looks on. He will face the winner of this matchup for the championship here in New York.
Oh, Stevens in trouble in the second half. The first half worked, but the final is set. It'll be Tennessee and North Carolina, Gary.
The first half was all Scott Stevens. The second half, all Gary Porter. Let's look again. Scott Stevens with the hole shot, but gets in trouble right there. And in no man's land, Gary Porter puts the hammer down and takes the victory. He's down with Army.
What's the track feel like out there? A lot of trucks have gone over them, a lot of slipping and sliding going on. There's only one more race to go, and you're going to be in that race. How do you adjust for it?
Well, really, I don't know how I'm going to adjust for it right now. I'll have lane choice, and I'll stay in the left lane. Equalizer, he hadn't ran the right lane all right, so I'm going to put him in new territory, and I hope he gets crossed up and I can take the win.
It's time now for Greg Holbrook and Gary Cook to go back to work. They're in the championship shootout. Stay with us.